Peter Schmeichel has criticised Manchester United's decision in letting Rasmus Højlund join Napoli. Also, big news off the pitch with talk of a Premier League spending cap, which could change football as we know it. Updates as well on Manchester United's new stadium plans. So as usual, get involved in that comment section with your own opinions and smash that like button to help support the channel. Let's kick off with Peter Schmeichel's comments first on Rasmus Højlund and bringing Šeško in.
Yeah, the decision to bring Šeško in and get rid of Højlund, he feels his criticism is there's too many powerful people at Manchester United. Šeško wasn't needed in his view. I agree with that. I think Højlund, and he thinks Højlund should have been given another year. He's very, very disillusioned at the way Manchester United have treated him. He feels the service he had on the pitch was very, very poor for the 2 years, and he was always calling for more service.
He actually labelled the signing of Šeško as weird when, in his view, the priority should have been in getting in a number 6 into that midfield area. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, Schmeichel says he's baffled at the decision of bringing Šeško. No criticism of Šeško, the player. He just feels as though, like, we had players brought in like Kuna and Bumo who would have provided the service needed for Højlund. And I agree with that. Yes, if we hadn't have brought in Šeško, we all know what should have been brought in. And the opportunity was there because the service was there for Højlund. So a midfield player could have been brought in. It was a late decision by Manchester United, I felt. Many other people felt. Because, yes, we wanted a striker. We was going for a striker at the beginning, but it was always felt Manchester United was going to keep him. So somewhere along the line, I think his criticism of too many powerful people is the right criticism because someone really wanted to make the mark.
I think it's fair to say as well, and I do actually lean more towards his opinion that I've seen in our comments section, that I do feel that Manchester United maybe only needed one number 10 bringing into the club. I've always said, and I still rate, that we needed to bring in another striker in Šeško. I'm happy with that. But I think by bringing in just the one number 10, we could have then gone out and bought that number 6 that I think we desperately needed. And I think it actually needed addressing the actual spine of that team at Manchester United. When you look over the past couple of years, you're looking at the players we've currently got to choose from as well in that midfield area. And for me, we could have quite easily have managed having Bruno still in that number 10 role instead of bringing him back into that midfield area.
Yeah, well, you look at some of the decisions, some of the problems what are created, self-inflicted, and then you go back to Højlund. It's happening for him. And the reason why it's happening for him in Napoli is because he's got the service. You see it at Napoli, he's scoring the goals, he's playing well. So for United, he did have a future, in Schmeichel's opinion, because the service is there and we are creating opportunities at United. We're like right up there at the top for creating opportunities. So is he wrong? I don't think he's wrong. I think Højlund should have been kept. My criticism of Højlund has always been he's not had the service. United have now got the players. He was determined to play for Manchester United. He wanted to fight for his place. That's what you want to see. But, hey, as Schmeichel says, he thinks there's too many powerful people in there trying to make the mark. And it just looks as though someone outshouted someone else inside United and they've made the mark. Is it the right decision? At the moment, Højlund going to Napoli looks a bad decision. Bringing in Šeško, I don't think that's a bad decision. I think Højlund just needed a partner, as Kieron says.
Now, some big news off the pitch as well. Talk about a Premier League spending cap. Your thoughts on that?
Well, the Premier League are set to vote on the PSR rules, changing them. And one of the big topics is the salary cap. For me, obviously, we'll keep an eye on that and all its implications as it goes along. But having a salary cap, I just look at that. I think when you look at the Premier League, it's the biggest and it's the best because of the salary players are on. We can bring the best, and it's been going on for a long time. So I look at other leagues years ago and I say to myself, this is bad news, this. A salary cap. Listen, they can afford it, these players. The money's coming into it. We look at the Premier League and since like the early 90s, it's just exploded all because of what's coming, and that's TV money and everything else, sponsors. So for me, a salary cap, I think we should be wary of what's going on here.
Just had up on screen the actual intricate details of this proposal of a Premier League cap. It's mad when you think 30 years ago. I think a lot of us in my generation used to watch the Saturday morning programme on Channel 4, watching the highlights and the news updates from Serie A. And you look back through the 90s, I mean, they were breaking every world record transfer fee with the likes of Vieira, Vialli, Roberto Baggio and the Brazilian Ronaldo as well. And that's where all the glamour was, you know, the high wages, etc. And they were dominating European football as well with the likes of AC Milan, Juventus, Inter and Parma as well. And as we know in the Premier League era, you know, it goes around in cycles of teams challenging and winning the Premier League on a consistent basis. And I think with this cap and this proposal, it will limit some of the top clubs with ambition, especially with European football, and where they can actually then go and attract some of the biggest names out there and bring them to the Premier League. And you could then see that shift again from what we're seeing with Serie A to the Premier League, and now from the Premier League to somewhere else, possibly Spain, Serie A. I mean, Saudi, will that ever come into the equation? Who knows? But for me, I think it's limiting clubs with ambition.
I think what it is, it's another rule, what the Premier League doesn't actually need. When rules are introduced, you've seen it before, clubs and players, they work round it. And listen, it's an open market. These leagues all around the world are all competing against each other. So when you sort of handicap your business with rules, then at the end of the day, others benefit. That's how I see it. That is, it's not the way to go as far as I'm concerned. There's more money going to be coming into football and players will be demanding more money. So for me, clubs and players, they'll get round any rule what comes in and it'll just make a farce of what the Premier League are trying to do. And it's all down to each individual club to have a vote. So, like I say, we'll keep an eye on it.
Constructive talks are happening.
Yes.
It's being reported over Manchester United's new stadium plans. What do you make of that?
Well, the talks are ongoing between the club and the people what own the railway behind Manchester United's football ground. That's the key to unlocking what goes on now for a new stadium. We heard recently about a price there, 50 million United wanted to pay for the land. The people, the freight company, wanted 400 million. Well, what's going to happen here is government intervention. If these two don't settle the differences and come to an amicable price, so the government can come in and will come in, government intervention. So at the end of the day, the government can step in and compulsory purchase and pay what they feel. So I think an amicable settlement will come because they won't want to wait for the government to step in and give a price, and then people will be dissatisfied. So for me, there is movement going on. There is companies coming into United over the last week or two talking about the construction costs and everything else like that. So we're moving along.
If you ever listen to Sir Jim Ratcliffe's public interviews, some of the main things that come out of his mouth are always to do with finance, team recruitment and strategy, and also that new stadium and the benefits that will bring with actual revenue coming back into the club. And I do think that's his prize, this new stadium build. And this is the eyes on the prize for Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And I do expect this to be done. And I just think it's just a matter of time before these sort of deals actually get concluded. And then you start to see the actual first spade go into the ground and a new stadium start being built.
Well, this is all about money and a date to keep an eye on, November the 26th. That's when the government announced their budget. And that's where I believe, and many other people believe, we'll see the finances provided. So that is a date to look at. It all depends on the government supplying the money to do the regeneration. The next 6 weeks, we'll see what happens. We'll wait, see if any more talks come out.
Yeah, anything else to add?
Yeah, Martinez, he's due back in November. That's what the club are hoping for. MRI scan last week. He's supposed to resume training soon. United have taken it softly for him. So over the next few days, we might be seeing pictures of Martinez back training with the club. We know he's on the grass, but it's all good news. But softly with him.
Yeah, he got an international break again coming up in November. So you may be looking more towards the end of November, them early fixtures in December, where we might actually see Martinez back out on the pitch at Old Trafford. But sooner the better for me, competition for places. And he looks like a key player for Ruben Amorim in this Manchester United squad. I've also seen some latest reports as well on Adam Wharton being linked to Manchester United, and some reports are saying now that he's above Carlos Baleba in the pecking order to be signed for Manchester United. And the reasons have been given, as you can see on screen, about he's more progressive and wanting to pass the ball forward instead of sideways passing, which, let's have it right, we've seen quite a lot of under Ruben Amorim, especially last season. But this season, starting to see it go forward a little bit more. So let's hope we can capitalise on some of them chances created, especially on Sunday against Liverpool, and start putting that ball in the back of the net. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thought I'd just do a bit of a brief overview on the 3 or 4 main topics that we've discussed today, just so the community can get involved in that comment section with your own opinions, and we'll have a read through later on today. Smash that like button to help support the channel, and subscribe as well if you're a new watcher or you'd like to keep up to date with the latest videos. Thanks for joining us. You take care, enjoy your day, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.